right, we are taking care of business this morning and looking at the legal environment affecting businesses. So let's review what we covered yesterday. When a person is running a business, he or she also has to consider the legal environment of the business. And yesterday we talked about some legal terms and issues that affect businesses. Some of the legal issues faced by business owners include health and safety guidelines, age protections and race protections, building and property codes, fair trade practices, and license and insurance regulations. And all of these various issues are monitored by the government. And we have three different levels of government. We have federal government, state government, and local government. The federal government is that at the national level. The U.S. government is our federal government. The state government, in our case, is the government of Arkansas. And of course, our government is headquartered in Little Rock. If you lived in Tennessee, your government is headquartered in Nashville. If you live in Mississippi, your government is headquartered in Jackson. Local government is housed at the county level and the city level. In our case, we live in Crittenden County, and we're in the city of West Memphis. The county seat, or where the courthouse is located for our county, is in Marion. And so our county government is led from Marion, from the courthouse. Our city government has a city hall, a building which is located here in West Memphis, where the mayor's office is housed. When we deal with government, a very important term to know is enforcement. Enforcement is simply when a government entity makes you follow the business-related laws. It's enforcing those laws. The biggest way that governments enforce laws is through fines. A fine is when you're forced to pay money as punishment for not following a law. And when companies don't obey laws, that's usually the typical punishment. You're charged a fine or a monetary fee for not obeying the law. But there are other penalties as well, and you will occasionally see a CEO, Chief Executive Officer of a company, go to prison for extreme violations of laws. We saw that in the case of Theranos. Elizabeth Holmes, the CEO, spent time in prison for the things that she did. The federal government of the United States of America is based in Washington, D.C. The state government for the state of Arkansas is based in Little Rock, Arkansas. And as we said, if you live in Tennessee, your state government is based in Nashville. If you live in Mississippi, your state government is based in Jackson. Local governments are based at the city level and the county level. Our city is West Memphis, and we have a city hall here in West Memphis. Our county government is headquartered in Marion. That's where our county seat or courthouse is. So what does each level of the government do? The federal government is charged with enforcing international issues, defending our country, setting policy on what the country will do, and establishing a budget for the country. So how do we know what the federal government does not do? When the founders of our country wrote the Constitution and reviewed it later, they realized that there were some additions needed, and those were called the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments. An amendment is an addition or change, and they made 10 changes or additions to the Constitution. The 10th Amendment states this: the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. So in plain English, the Founding Fathers were saying this: anything not already listed in the U.S. Constitution is to be handled by the states. So state governments, such as the state of Arkansas, handle things such as education, public safety for the citizens of that state, and health care for the citizens of that state. There are many other issues too, but those are the most major ones. And then local governments handle things more at the local level, such as setting up parks and recreation services, emergency services like ambulances, housing services, local public transportation, and public works, which are things like water systems and electricity. Each level of government is divided into 3 branches. The executive branch, which would be the president at the federal level, the governor at the state level, and the mayor or county executive at the local level. The legislative branch, which would be Congress at the federal level, the state legislature at the state level, and the city council or county court or county commission at the local level. And the judicial branch, which would be the court system. And at all 3 levels, we have a court system. Supreme Court at the federal level. The states also have their version of a Supreme Court, and cities and counties have courts as well. Each branch has a certain level of control over the other branch. Let's look at the federal level. The president can't just make any law he wants. Congress normally makes the laws, but they can't just make any law they want either. The president has to sign off on it. And then Congress can override a veto if the president decides not to sign off on the law. And then if a law is judged to not match the Constitution or be unconstitutional, it can go to a court, which can determine that that law will no longer be in effect. And so each branch has a certain level of control over the other branches, and that's called the system of checks and balances. We have that at all 3 levels, and it keeps our government from becoming a dictatorship. How do we get our leaders in government? They are elected. We are a republic. We elect leaders, and then the leaders in turn represent us and vote on issues. The act of doing that is called democracy. But once elected, other leaders are appointed by those who are elected. Usually a lot of administrative positions will be appointed by the mayor or the city council, all the way up to the president appoints his cabinet. And so not every single leader is elected. Some are appointed by those that we elect. So as we close out this review system, let's remember, keep in mind the effects of government on business.